Benefit Cosmetics Hoola Bronzer is sold every 10 seconds around the world. That makes it the #1 selling bronzer on the planet. It's also the #1 selling bronzer for Sephora. The original Hoola Bronzer launched back in 2001. It wasn't until 17 years later, Hoola Lite, along with a corresponding cream bronzer, was launched to the market. Hoola Lite is supposed to be geared more towards people with much more fairer, much more lighter, pale skin tones. Usually bronzers turn orange on their fair skin, but with the light version it would not do that. Now for February 2019, Benefit has released 2 additional shades. Deeper skin tones can now start to benefit from their bronzer, their #1 selling bronzer, and of course they're going to become permanent shade additions to the Hoola lineup. Along with the new shade expansion for spring 2019, Benefit has also included 2 limited edition face palettes. I'm going to call them face palettes because there's some new shade additions as far as blushes, as well as their highlighter, and then of course the different shades for the Hoola bronzer. Each bronzer is $30. I believe that's what the other 2 in the existing shades as well as, so just everything's the same. The only thing is it's just darker to accommodate deeper skin tones. And that's kind of where I want to focus on this video, not so much as wear test, does it last long, and so forth. Let me help you kind of find your shade, and I'm also going to give you some comparisons against some other bronzers as well. First off is going to be Caramel. I would think it's actually like caramel, like syrup. When I look at that shade, I see that brown, I don't see cinnamon, but I do see gold and yellow in it. This is a shade that comes off golden on the skin. So I feel that they named it perfect. So if you like bronzers that are like that has that gold tone on, that will really complement your skin tone and your undertone, then Caramel would be for you. You have that deeper tan skin. You have dark skin, like I'm medium dark, but you're light. So if we're looking at the dark series, we have our light dark series, at the front, and then you would have your medium dark skin tones right here, and then very deep tan skin right before you go into the dark series. So that's where I see the Caramel shade best suited. Even though I'm medium dark skin, my undertone is warm and it's also golden. So when I'm using a bronzer that is pretty much right there up at my skin tone, I run the risk of it kind of, in a sense, turning into more so of a richer face powder, if that makes sense, on my skin tone. This bronzer doesn't come off as a subtle bronzer on my skin, but I do see in real life where it just kind of complements my own skin tone and my own undertone. And it's really because it's so close in a proximity to my own natural skin tone, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to be as specific as possible because I know there's people that have exactly my skin tone and exactly my undertone, and they've been wondering about Caramel. Therefore, it's going to be a personal choice. Which bronzer shade do you feel that you gear more toward? I would say Caramel is like that Goldilocks shade with me. It's just kind of like right in the middle. It's not subtle, it's not strong, but it's just kind of something that complements my own skin tone. Now let's take a look at Toasted. They are naming the names exactly how it is. That burnt toasted look that I love on my skin, where I seem to kind of go down a notch in shade, but it's still contrasting on my skin tone. Toasted is that shade. If I went by Max color system, let's say you're much further down in the 40s, you're 45 and further down, and you're going into the 50s, you're going to start to see where Toasted is really going to give you that beautiful glow on your skin. Here's a quick demonstration of Toasted. Now this was the same day I filmed it with Caramel, and I used my big giant fluffy brush that I knew would kind of go inside the box, but it also kind of stayed a little bit compacted. So when I'm putting on Toasted, it's like, whoa, woo, that little strong, but it was beautiful. So I'm blending it out, putting in the areas where I would tend to wear my bronzer. But then I took my face brush, which is still dense, but it's fluffier, and then I further blend out Toasted. So if you want a stronger effect, pick a brush that is going to be a little bit more dense and compact, and then if you want to blend it out, of course, use something that's a lot more fluffier. For today's application, I'm going to go with Toasted, but I'm going to use a much fluffier brush, my little egg brush here from Real Techniques. This will give me more of a soft effect. So I have a very soft contour on, so I want to keep everything still soft, and I haven't tried Toasted yet as a soft look on my skin, so that's what I want to demonstrate to you. So now I'm just going to apply Toasted and kind of show you right off the bat how I'm already getting that, well, toasted look that I love. That's the second time dipping in the brush. Look how strong that is. I'm just going to wipe a little bit off on my cloth here. Toasted is here to play. I also need to apply blush today, and I want to see how that looks on top of this Toasted. So moving forward for myself, I want to use Toasted with much more of a softer brush, just because it gives such a strong, oh, my contact popped up. Quick, excuse me. Let me just fix that real quick. Quick intermission break. Apologize for that. Because it is such a strong contrast on my skin, if I used anything that's not fluffier, I want to make sure it just gives that more of a soft look onto my skin. Not a lot of kick up, so there you go. Toasted. Because I was curious, I swatched the Caramel shade in Hoola up against the Sunset bronzer here because they looked quite similar to me in real life. Caramel comes off slightly darker than Physicians Sunset. Sunset, I would say, is like a slightly lifted shade. However, it's still golden, but it's not as golden as Caramel. I did swatch the Toasted up against Physicians Endless Summer, since Endless has a lot more of a red tone base to it. And once again, Toasted is going to come off with a stronger, like a deeper shade reference versus Endless Summer. And I wanted to swatch Toasted up against my CoverGirl Queen. So if you have this one or something that's deep and rich within this, this is, what's it called again? Ebony Bronze. Ebony Bronze has like flecks of gold in it. So that's going to be the first comparison there, because this is pure matte. You're not going to have any of that. However, here is something where they're going to match well up, because they are both deeper on my skin tone and give off that stronger reddish brown appearance on the skin. So if this shade from CoverGirl Queen or something, you have something that's along this reference here works already for you, then Toasted is definitely going to be best suited and will also work for your skin tone. Now I want to talk about both the Pink Squad and the Bronze Squad, the two new limited edition face palettes from Benefit. Now there's a blush, there's a highlighter, and then there's the bronzers that's inside, and then there's new shades included. So the package for it is supposed to be, I think, a retail about $150 worth of product in each box. However, you're getting the box for $60. Here's the face box that I feel is a nice cohesive box that goes with, geared towards the skin tone that it's supposed to be marketed to. So fair skin tones, medium skin tones, basically non-people of color. So you have the California blush, which is beautiful. I have it myself. And then you have Cookie, which is a new highlighter. That highlighter is excellent if you have light skin, because it complements your skin tones, and I think it just melts into the skin. Then you have your Hoola Bronzer. You have, I forgot what's the other one down there. I don't have the picture in front of me. There's two of the, you've got two bronzers inside, and then you have the Coralista blush in there, which again complement fair skin. Then you have the Bronze Edition, which is supposed to be geared towards people of color. So I'm, as a person of color, darker skin, I open the box and I'm like, okay, the first pan is the Gold Rush pan, which I feel still looks a lot much lighter on someone with darker skin. Now they have that overspray, so probably once you get over that, but still the powder itself still looks very light to me. Then there's the Cookie shade in there, which is the same as in the other box, but here is a highlighter that is going to turn very ashy, very pale on my skin tone and darker skin tone as well. Then there is the Caramel bronzer that's next to it, which is fine. You can put that in there depending on, you know, who's the customer that's going to pick up the box. However, it's the addition of Hoola, the original Hoola bronzer, right on the second row. I said, why is that in there? I can't use Hoola. So why did you stick that in the box that's for darker skin? And then the Coralista blush. Again, a blush that is much too light. I feel it's much too light, and this is just not giving off a flattering tone on darker skin. No. If they made like a bronze version of the cookie and put it in the bronze box, basically do your job and have the pans be not only geared towards the customer that it's supposed to go to, you know, the demographic, but also flattering for their skin tones, because it's just a waste. And I'm not going to spend 60 bucks for pans that I cannot even use. At that point, it's an insult to me. So what do you think? It took Benefit 18 years. I counted 18 years since original Hoola came out to give us darker shades. That is the time frame of an infant to, you know, adult age, and send them off to college. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, everyone, spending some time with me. As always, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day or evening, and as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.